straight and bright. By the light of the Word.
Today on Light of the Word with Pastor Ray.
So often it's just the little foxes we didn't even see coming. It's just a word that was spoken and we weren't prepared for it, because you know what? We sit and we prepare for the Sauls. We're praying about the Sauls. We're praying about them and the attacks that are going to come. We're praying about how the Sauls are, how we have to defend against the Saul, and we put all this energy and focus into it, and we don't even see the little foxes coming who just catch us really off guard and by surprise, and then it just lights us off.
Open your heart to us, Lord, so we can know your word. We come before you, Jesus. Speak to our hearts as we discover your love for us. How wide, how deep, how far. Pour into us so we can learn to follow. One surrender at a time. You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and bright. By the light of the Word.
Each and every one of us has a pet peeve or two that can completely set us off with little to no warning. While we might have a rounded and well-controlled temper in general, we sometimes get caught off guard by these triggers. In today's message, Pastor Ray reflects on an emotional outburst of young David and the repercussions that shortly followed. In our study, we learn the dangers of allowing ourselves to succumb to emotion rather than responding with patience, peace, and reason. Well, let's join Pastor Ray for today's edition of Light of the Word from the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25.
You know, I could say to, hey, maybe Nabal's in this place. David, man, if I help you, Saul's going to come and kill me. He could still give us off. David, you know it. If I help you, I'm a dead man. Just what he did to the whole household of the priest. You know that story, David. I wish I could, but I can't. That would be wisdom. But I don't think he has wisdom. I don't think this is because the way he responds harshly. He makes a direct attack on the character of David. Says, who's David? He's a nobody. He's not a giant slayer anymore in his mind. That was nice, David, that we live in this nice land that we do because you killed the giant. David, and you were the one who were killing 10,000 of the Philistines who were constantly coming to rob us. But you know what, David? I have nothing for you. You're a nobody. Now we'll see verse 13. David is offended by Nabal's response. Then David said to his men, every man gird on his sword. So every man girded on his sword, and David also girded on his sword. About 400 men with David, and 200 stayed with the supplies. Can I just make this point? Nabal and David did not have any type of covenant agreement. That was the goodness of your heart, David. That was great. Sometimes you'll try to read that this was common in the day, that people would protect someone else's goods and expect a return. Man, that don't happen today. Man hasn't changed. David was not in a covenant agreement with Nabal. I'll guard your sheep, and then you'll give me some type of supply in the end. Can I say this as a reminder? You'll never know how much of a servant you are until someone treats you like a servant. When we serve, there has to be absolutely no expectation of any type of return. No rewards, no thanks, no attaboys, no nothing. And when someone treats you like a servant, you'll find out how much of a servant I really am. So David, you might have thought you were doing this out of the goodness of your heart, but now check this out. David's bringing 400 men with swords, trained, seasoned, tested warriors to kill Nabal. If Nabal had his own security forces, he wouldn't have needed David. So the security forces that David are bringing is surely not the fight against Nabal's security forces, because obviously he doesn't have any. What we have here is overkill. This is absolute overkill. David's bringing 400, and it is overkill all the way. There's way more going on here than surface. Who is this man? How could David come to this place? What we saw last chapter, I will not touch the Lord's anointed. It's not for me to put value on anybody. Vengeance is not mine. Vengeance belongs to the Lord. And then all of a sudden we see this, boom, here he comes, absolute overkill. We got emotion riding. We got a lot of emotion riding here. And you ever get that place, as I was saying in the beginning, Song of Solomon, catch us the little foxes that spoil the vine, for our vines have tender grape. You know, it's the little foxes that get us. Man, we can fight giants. We can withhold our tongue against people throwing spears at us. Then one day, a little fox comes. You know your little fox. That then all of a sudden you just find yourself going off. It's like, who am I? What happened? Where did this come from? I mean, I was so awesome here. I was so great here. I was strong and nearly invincible here. And then here comes this little fox across my vine, and I go nuts over it. I just respond with this high response. You know, we say it. Behind all anger is fear. David, what is it that you fear? David fears something. This response is an overkill to go kill one fool. I sit there and go, so what are we going to change the song, David? Is this the song you now want people to sing? Saul killed his 1,000, David killed his 10,000 plus one fool. Is that what you want your song to be about as you're going forth in your life, that you took 400 men to kill a fool? Someone who insulted you? What could be David's fear? I don't know. I could guess. I'm afraid my men are going to disrespect me. 10 men just heard it. It's going to go through the whole camp. Did you hear what this guy, he's a nobody. Did you hear what he said about David? He said this. He said, who's David? He's just a runaway slave. He's in rebellion. David could fear, my men are going to start departing from me. Or he could fear, just like the rest of us, that's my pride. You just insulted my pride. And here he comes, and he rises up, and he is now totally controlled by his emotions. Anybody that ever happened to you? It's the little foxes. So often it's just the little foxes we didn't even see coming. It's just a word that was spoken and we weren't prepared for it, because you know what? We sit and we prepare for the Sauls. We're praying about the Sauls. We're praying about them and the attacks that are going to come. We're praying about how the Sauls are, how we have to defend against the Saul. And we put all this energy and focus into it, and we don't even see the little foxes coming who just catch us really off guard and by surprise, and then it just lights us off. And so here's the humanness of David, so much a picture of our humanness. David wants vengeance. He's been insulted. I still have to say, there was no covenant agreement to do this. Now, Nabal's response would border into sinful, disrespectful. Enough to kill? I don't think so. There's no biblical law about being insulted and getting the death penalty. David's way in an overkill. He's way in an emotional state. David now is bringing vengeance. I just got to say to anyone and everyone, as long as you have vengeance in your heart, that person holds power over you. When you want vengeance, when you want the get even, when you want revenge, when you want to make sure that things are set right, that person holds a power over you and you are enslaved to them. Can I say, just let it go? Really, just let it go. I'm not saying let it go and go have lunch with them, but I'm saying let it go. Because until you let it go, they have the power. And you know what usually happens in these situations? We're going to see it. Perfect example. Nabal's going to have a feast. He's going to eat. He's going to be a glutton. He's going to have drink and joy and all these fine things. And, you know, most of the time, that person who has hurt you, that person that you want vengeance or revenge against, and you want to get that last word with, they've moved on. They've gone on and they're living their life and they're having joy and laughter. They don't even think about you. Nabal, he's going to have this big party. He's not even thinking about David, we're going to see. David, this is all he can think about. David is in the bondage. And as I always say, boy, emotions lead to bad decisions. And just to make that note, David takes 400 to kill, I don't know, a couple dozen maybe. And he leaves 200 to watch the supplies. You got all the Philistines out there. You got all the Philistines robbing threshing floors, and you got all the Philistines, and he only leaves 200 to watch the supplies. That's a bad tactical decision just in that. And we're going to see David make the same mistake again. Verse 14 through 17. Now, one of the young men told Abigail, this is Nabal's wife, saying, "Look, David sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, and he reviled them. But the men who were very good to us, and we were not hurt, nor did we miss anything, as long as we accompanied them when we were in the fields. They were a wall to us both day and night. All the time we were with them, keeping the sheep." Verse 17, "Now therefore know and consider what you will do, for harm is determined against our master." He just knows it. He knows it's coming. "And against all his household, for he is such a scoundrel that one cannot speak to him." So the servant, he gives Abigail the background of what happened. Make sure David was good to us. He knows David's a giant slayer. He's not a man to be messed with, and we should fear what's coming. And so Abigail prepares a feast, verse 18 through 20. And we're going to see tremendous wealth. "Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep already dressed, 5 seahs of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisin, and 200 cakes of figs, and loaded them on donkeys. And she said to her servants, 'Go on before me. See, I am coming after you.' But she did not tell her husband Nabal. So it was, as she rode on the donkey, that she went down under the cover of the hill, and there were David and his men coming down towards her, and she met them." So she's riding behind the hill. Nabal can't see her. Appears David can't see her. But boy, look at this tremendous wealth, just what she's able to give him on such a rapid response. So it was either being cooked for the feast that they were going to have, or she has so many servants, they can whip this and put this together. Greatly blessed and wealthy, but Nabal's response, he ain't going to give nothing. So moving on, looking at David, verse 21 and 22. "Now David had said, 'Surely in vain I have protected all that this fellow has in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that belonged to him, and he has repaid me evil for good. May God do so and more also to the enemies of David.'" Boy, he won't call Saul an enemy, but here, guy won't give him some sheep. "The enemies of David, if I leave one male of all who belong to him by morning light." So David's on his way. He's not speaking to Abigail. David has already told the men, "Get on, strap up the swords, let's go roll. We're going to go kill this man." Abigail's approaching him. But what's going on here is David is what? He's rehearsing it over and over and over and over. It is Satan's perfect ploy. It's our flesh. It is the world. But we get in these situations and we just repeat ourselves over and over and over what that person did. And it's like the vengeance part. Oh, they have total power over you. And you sit there and you rehash it over and over and over and over. And it just keeps turning over and over. And your anger just keeps rising and rising. And your anxiety rising and rising. Your fear higher and higher. Your emotions are totally controlling you now. And here's what you do. Stop. Literally, we just need to recognize it and stop. Say, Lord, I can so see it. This thing, I keep chewing on it and chewing on it. And the more I chew on it, the more it grips me and the more it pulls me down and the more anxious I get. We just have to recognize and go, stop. Father, what's the truth here? He's a fool. What they did was wrong. I'm just going to move on from it. But David keeps chewing on it. He's ready to kill, literally, innocent blood. Who is this man? Verse 23 through 24. And boy, look at this as we go. We are going to see Abigail come, and we are going to watch the picture of you, me, when we get the opportunity for conflict resolution, whether it's our own personal conflicts or interceding between conflict or just giving counsel, wise counsel to a friend. This picture of Abigail and her actions are rich. And if you're not a note taker, this is a passage for all of us for the life that we live, because as I say, put two sinners in a room, at some point you're going to have a problem. Verse 23 and 24. Now when Abigail saw David, she dismounted quickly from the donkey, fell on her face before David and bowed down to the ground. So she fell at his feet and said, on me, my Lord, on me let this iniquity be. And please let your maidservant speak in your ears and hear the words of your maidservant. Whether it's conflict resolution between you and somebody, or counseling somebody, or interceding between two people, look at this. And this one, body posture. The way you show up is huge. I know she's just a woman, but she gets down off her donkey. She is low. She bows herself, and she immediately is coming in a soft way, a humble way, a calm way. If she would have came in with high voices, if she would have came in a hurry, rush, and then running up to David, raised voice, what happens to all of us? Anxiety starts coming. What is it? Is Nabal calling the Philistines? Is he giving money to the Philistines? Is there something, men hiding in there? David would go up on high nerves even more than he is right now. Body posture, the way you show up in the conflicts, the way you show up when you go to minister to somebody. Body posture is huge. You know, take numbers for what they are, but I think we can all agree this is somewhat close. There was a study done, and they said in communication, 60% of the communication is action, 30% is attitude, and 10% is content. So only 10% of the actual content of the communication is what's received. The other 90, as the person views it, it's the action. And actions are bringing a meal or doing the dishes or an action that you take for that person to meet with them. That's 60, they say. The 30 is your attitude. It's your posture. It's your tone. It's the way you come and approach. And obviously, you come with your boat up. You come with some aggression. Man, things are going to go way out of control real quick. Way out of control real quick, and I think we can all relate to that. Only 10% is content because the person's watching the actions. How have you treated me for the past week or so? And now what is your attitude as you show up to me? Because that's going to determine truly how I receive the content of your message. Attitude speaks louder than content. Now watch her, verse 25 and 26. Please let my Lord regard this scoundrel Nabal. For as his name is, so he. Nabal is his name, and folly with him. So, boy, she calls it out of what everybody knows, as the servants say. Everybody knows this is how he is. But I, your maidservant, did not see the young men of my Lord whom you sent. Now, therefore, my Lord, as the Lord lives and your soul lives, since the Lord has held you back from coming to blood shed and from avenging yourself with your own hand, now let your enemy and those who seek harm for my Lord be as Nabal, be as fools. You know what she does here, and this is huge in communication? She's connecting to David's heart. I understand, David. I understand why you're upset. I understand why you would be responding as you did. She connects to his heart. So now not only has she come humbly and softly, now she comes and she makes a connection to his heart. And when we're in any type of conflict resolution, or we're in any type of intercession or any type of counseling, we try to connect and say, what's going on in your heart? Because now they know this person understands, or this person's at least trying to understand me. David now, he's coming lower and lower. You can see he's ready to kill, and now we can see he's coming lower and lower as anxiety starts to drop. Verse 27, and now this present with your maidservant has brought to my Lord. Let it be given to the young men and who follow my Lord. So she comes with this big bounty of the sheep and the nuts and the skins of wine. You know what she's doing? Third important part in our interpersonal. She's giving David wealth, worth. You're worth something, David. And I'm not just going to speak it, which we need to speak it. She comes and delivers an action with it. Hey, I'm not saying that we always are in the position to take people out to dinner or to mow their lawn or something like that. But I'll tell you one thing that's the greatest that I've always found. I give you my time. When you give people your time and you slow down for them and you hear them and you listen to their heart, man, you gave them your greatest treasure, because time is our greatest resource. And so here she is putting worth on David by giving him these gifts. And now verse 28 and 29. Please forgive the trespasses of your maidservant. For the Lord will certainly make for my Lord an enduring house, because my Lord fights the battles of the Lord, and evil is not found in you throughout your days. Yet a man has risen to pursue you and seek your life. This is speaking of Saul. But the life of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of living with the Lord your God, and the lives of your enemy he shall sling out. There's a reference, no doubt, back to the giant slayer. And from the pocket of a sling. Look at this key again. Interceding, counseling, conflict resolution. She reminds David of who he is before the Lord. You're God's warrior. You're God's chosen. Someday you will be a king. And look at the beauty of the pageantry of this word that she uses here in verse 29. But the life of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of the living with the Lord your God. This is a reference in that today you want to deliver something that's precious and fragile. Boy, you wrap it up in the foam. It's breakable. You wrap it up in the foam, and then you put it in the box, and the box is no cheap box, and you tape it. Well, back then the bundle was, say I was transporting something that was fragile, eggs or pottery or whatever. They bundle it up in haystack.
You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and bright.
The Word of God is so applicable to the lives of all Christians from the time it was written long into the future. As we continue to study the book of 1 Samuel, we'll learn to listen to God from Samuel and how to love our Creator with all our heart from David. We can even learn from Saul, who failed time and again to follow the one who set him on the throne in the first place. Through each life we see in this book, we're exposed to God's mercy and power, and it will leave us with a choice to make. Will we follow God or try to go on our own way? If you've been exploring what it means to live for your Creator and you're ready to take the next step, we'd like to let you know that we're here to help. We'd love to pray for you, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you have. Please send an email to mail@ccaac.org or give us a call at 443-995-3282. That number again is 443-995-3282. We've also created a page on our website that will give you a better idea of how much meaning life can have when you choose God. Visit ccaac.org and click on the meaning of life to learn more. That website again is ccaac.org. That's all we have time for today. But join us next time right here on Light of the Word, illuminating the heart of God.
You have made